Okay, so we're here once again in Mining Simulator 2, and for today's video we're going to go over some things that we may potentially see in future updates now that Isaac is indeed back from his vacation. So since Isaac left for his vacation, recent updates have been pretty poor and it has resulted in a massive drop in players. However, the fact that Isaac is now back, we should see some more better updates coming back to the game. We have already discussed the fact that multi-rebirths will be coming, as well as a travelling merchant, which will be very nice additions to the game. However, we could go over for today's video basically some other things that may possibly come in this game in upcoming updates to really spice things up, and what kind of updates we can expect to see in terms of like the long-term updates. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. Okay, so the first one we are 100% expecting to see to coincide along with the Season 3 pass is the seasonal leaderboards. So these things right here, these leaderboards, are probably some of the most boring things in the game, and honestly really have just no purpose whatsoever apart from flexing for like 5 seconds, and then that's pretty much it. However, these things could get improved vastly, and that is bringing in a BGS or a Bubblegum Simulator feature that basically came along with the Season Pass. So it didn't happen every single Season Pass, but I'm pretty sure every other Season Pass basically got these seasonal leaderboards. And what it meant was, every time these leaderboards would start, you would have to basically grind from like 0 up to however many. So basically, when the season would start, you would get a seasonal leaderboard, everyone would start at 0, and depending on how many rebirths you'd get, how many eggs you'd hatch, or whatever, how many blocks you'd mine, basically then you can get some rewards, which could be like the elite rewards again. We may see like the elite Lord Shock come back. There was, I think, like an elite Wolf Lord at some point in the game, an elite Leviathan, things like that. And obviously you can use the same things from these games, so you may see exactly like the Lord Shock come back, because we have had the Lord Shock in this game. You might see an Ancient Koi, or the Elite Koi, sorry, and just all sorts of different things. You could see an elite Mega Shard, an elite Atlantic Titan, just some random things to use as rewards, on top of obviously a ton of boosts. Now when this happened in a Bubblegum Simulator, you would obviously get the elite pet depending on where you finished, as well as a ton of boosts. Now if you did finish in the top spots, that would basically mean you could get anywhere between, I think it's like 100 hours and like 50 hours worth of boost, which is absolutely massive for grinding. So honestly, it'll be very exciting to see some new seasonal leaderboards, and maybe even daily leaderboards coming from Mining Sim 1 as well, which will be really exciting to see. Now again, the daily leaderboards probably won't exactly have any sort of rewards coming from them. However, it is just something nice to grind for, because every now and then you might look at the daily leaderboards and go, I can get on that for today, and then you might grind it out and just kind of flex off for the day, because why not? And then obviously for the seasonal leaderboards, you will obviously get a very good pet which will have a ton of value, which will be great for traders and great for any sort of player as well. So honestly, I think that we need to see these seasonal leaderboards added sooner rather than later, and hopefully we can see them added sometime within September or October, and I think that will be a very nice addition to the game. Now we have talked about this one before, and it is basically the rebirth eggs. Now the fact that multi-rebirths have basically been confirmed by Isaac himself, these rebirth eggs would need a little bit of a rethink from what we actually read and talked about last time. However, I really do think that rebirthing eggs could be seen in a future update somewhere down the line, for the fact that it's going to be a really nice addition to the game, and obviously it's going to make a lot of people want to play the game a lot more and do a lot more rebirthing, and actually have an incentive to do some rebirthing alongside those seasonal and daily leaderboards. So basically what rebirth eggs are is the fact that when you rebirth, you'll get an egg or something, and then you can hatch it, and inside of that it was going to have like a really nice pet or something, and this egg would kind of like rotate around every month or so just to get some new pets and stuff, which I think is going to be a really nice idea. Now the fact that multi-rebirths are being added into the game, I think it'll be more of like a good thing to have like a chance of getting this egg to drop. So instead of like having like a rebirth and you get a guaranteed egg every single time, maybe every time you rebirth it's like a 50% chance or a 25% chance of you getting it, just so it's not exactly going to be so overpowered. Like imagine you going down to the mine, getting 500 rebirths all at once and hatching all that egg all at once. It's going to be a little bit overpowered. Now again, it just basically depends. You can either do a 100% chance and make the pets a little bit harder to hatch, or make the egg only appear 25% of the time and make them easier to hatch. It depends how really you want to kind of go around it. But honestly, I really do think that the rebirthing eggs could really add a nice incentive to actually do some rebirthing, and you could see a massive shift not only in the rebirths but also the blocks mined leaderboards. And I think this will be a really nice idea just to give these people as well who do actually do a lot of rebirthing just some sort of reward, as well as everyone else to just bring some sort of incentive to actually do some rebirthing. So yeah, honestly I think rebirthing eggs could be a really good idea to add into the game at some point. We have discussed it before, so I don't really want to delve too deep into it, but yeah, honestly just really good idea to add something to the game. So another thing that I think is going to get a revamp and a complete overhaul within the game is the nukes and the explosives. So we've talked about this before, the fact that in the game right now, these nukes and explosives really are just the weakest thing and the most pointless thing in the game. They're great for starting out when you do first start out. However, once you get to specific points in the game, these things become so useless, it's actually forgettable. And we all know that Isaac and the team have also completely forgotten about these explosives, as we've not seen one being added since launch. Literally there's not been one added in any single update, which is kind of crazy. So really I think that we could maybe see a complete overhaul and a revamp of these explosives. Now we've talked about this again in another video, and I really do think that this needs to happen because I think the explosives really have a good place in this game, and there's so many different things that could happen with these explosives, but they really do need to be stronger. Now again, they just need to be added up, like maybe to whatever the maximum mining bit is. So in the game right now it's 175,000 for the best block. Now just adding an explosive that can do that, and then just kind of change the explosive range, how much it explodes, the cooldown and things like that. And honestly I think this is going to be a really good way just to bring explosives back to the game and give them a little bit of a revamp. And I honestly think that Isaac would definitely consider this, just for the fact that it's going to be a really fun part of the game. And again, there's probably different ways to monetize it, with adding in another Omega nuke that's going to be a lot better than the current one. And there's also different gem enchants you could do. Maybe there's like a gem enchant that you can use to actually increase the explosive range of these explosives. So yeah, honestly I really do hope that we see an explosives revamp in the future, but I really do think at some point in the game we might actually see that happen. So yeah, honestly that's going to be really good. Now this next one is one that is 100% coming to the game at some point in the future, and that is obviously caves. Now we've been without caves for a very long time, and it may not seem that long. However, when you think back to it, it was already in the middle of the summer fair event when we actually got rid of caves, and that's been a very long time, to be honest. I think it's been way over a month, maybe even 2 months at this point when we've basically been without caves. So yeah, caves will be returning hopefully sooner rather than later, and they will obviously have their kind of revamped sort of whatever way of proceeding and making those caves. So I think instead of them working the way they did last time, where you could actually see where the caves were, I genuinely think they're going to have to make them so they actually get produced as you mine, just so there's not a load of caves constantly being kind of scattered around. So whereas last time you can actually use this teleporter glitch where you just kind of mine out over here or something and then just kind of look through and stuff, instead I really do think that they're going to kind of make it so they only get generated whilst you are mining, and they'll probably have a 1% chance of getting generated for every block you mine or something like that, which would eliminate the teleporter glitch as well, and I know that would make a lot of people upset. However, it wasn't really meant to be a part of the game, and I think this is just going to be the way caves will be generated in future. But I think caves will definitely be returning, again hopefully sooner rather than later, but we will have to see the way with it going. So honestly, hopefully caves do return, maybe in the next update, but I doubt it. But I think they will be returning within the next 3 months, so let's just keep our fingers crossed. So this is going to be one that I think is probably on the lower end of the scale of it potentially happening, but that is going to be a revamped Season Pass. Now, basically this Season Pass, in terms of the developers and what they see, there is nothing wrong with this Season Pass because they are going to be earning a ton of money through this Season Pass from people like me who buy this thing 20 times per season. Already that's going to get them a ton of money. So honestly, I really doubt that there's going to be any sort of revamp coming to the Season Pass at any point, but it's going to be a really fun one to see if it does happen. Now, I don't think there's ever been a revamp in any sort of Season Pass when it comes to Rumble Studios. Only what I can remember really is obviously Bubblegum Simulator, and they never revamped it over there, so I don't really expect to see it happen here either. However, I think there's going to be a lot of fun ways that they can actually change this Season Pass up, adding some new things. And we've already talked about this again in another video, in the ideas video, when we talked from Shellyfi's comment, and I had a lot of really good ideas in how to like improve and revamp the Season Pass. So honestly, I really do hope it's on the developer's mind just to kind of change this up, add some more fun things in there, and just kind of make it overall more exciting to actually open. And I think if they do actually end up revamping this whole thing, I really do think that more people are actually going to buy it rather than leave it and just kind of unlock it throughout like just normally. So again, a great incentive there for the developers to actually go ahead and revamp this thing. Just so you know, more people are going to go ahead and actually buy this thing instead of just like unlocking it normally. Now again, I know there's a ton of people out there who already do this thing multiple times like myself, so there's not really any reason to actually change this thing up, but it would be really nice to see and really fun to see. So hopefully something does happen sooner rather than later. But that is all the current things that I can think of right now. Basically, we're just going to quickly revamp over the things that are definitely coming. We've already talked about multi-rebirths, which are definitely coming to the game, as well as the Travelling Merchant, and we will make another video on the Travelling Merchant in the future. And I think again, some of the ones that are definitely going to be coming to the game at some point in the future are the seasonal leaderboards. That has got to 100% happen. Just so you know, there's a reason to grind the game, and I really do think with the seasonal leaderboards being in the game, I think more people are actually going to play the game and try and go for that. Because as of right now, the only people playing the game really are like the true fanboy, try-hard grinders, such as myself. So honestly, I really do hope that seasonal leaderboards are added, and I think that's got a 100% chance of happening. For everything else, I think the rebirth eggs are probably like a 50-50 to be honest. I really do hope they get added at some point though. The Season Pass getting a revamp probably won't happen, and everything else probably has like a 25% to 50% chance of happening. So yeah, honestly, I hope to see some of these updates happen in the future. Let me know what you guys think, and any ideas or any things that you may want to see in the future. Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.